Inter vs Bayern Munich, April 17, 2025, UEFA Champions League quarter-final, second leg. Good evening, football fans. Welcome to our in-depth review and tactical breakdown of the thrilling second-leg quarter-final clash in the UEFA Champions League between Inter Milan and Bayern Munich. Held in the electric atmosphere of the San Siro on the morning of April 17, 2025. It was a night of legends, a night where every heartbeat was tested, where every pass echoed with tension, and where Inter Milan stood tall with poise and precision to overcome the Bavarian giants. With a dramatic aggregate score of 4-3, the Nerazzurri earned their place in the semi-finals after a battle that will be remembered for years to come. The first leg at the Allianz Arena ended with a surprising 2-1 victory for Inter, a result that sent shockwaves across Europe. Bayern Munich, armed with their firepower, Kane, Sane, Musiala, Goretzka, were expected to dominate. But Simone Inzaghi's men had other plans. They reminded the world that discipline, structure, and mental strength are sometimes even more lethal than flair. Coming into the second leg, Bayern had no room for error. They needed at least 2 goals and a clean sheet to turn the tide. Inter, meanwhile, had to strike the perfect balance between defense and counterattack, a tactical tug-of-war that would soon unfold with dazzling drama. From the very first whistle, both teams came out swinging. Bayern pushed high with relentless intent, applying pressure down both flanks. Alphonso Davies surged forward on the left, while Mazraoui tucked into midfield lanes. Looking to add a layer of unpredictability, Inter responded with calm precision, setting up a defensive wall in their trademark 3-5-2 shape. Bastoni, Acerbi, and Pavard anchored the backline like seasoned generals. In midfield, Barella and Alhanalu tracked every movement, dropping deep to absorb Bayern's aggressive build-up and initiate transitions with purpose. The most notable moment of the first half came in the 38th minute. Jamal Musiala, ever the magician, glided past 2 Inter defenders with a burst of pace and unleashed a low drive aimed at the bottom corner. But Jan Sommer, Inter's dependable wall, dived at full stretch to deny the opener, a world-class save that kept the match finally poised at 0-0 heading into halftime. The second half had barely begun when Bayern finally broke through in the 52nd minute. And what a moment it was, pure class, pure composure, pure Champions League football. And there it is. In the 52nd minute, Harry Kane puts Bayern Munich ahead with a brilliantly executed goal. The move began with a sharp combination through the middle between Joshua Kimmich and Jamal Musiala. Kimmich, always with eyes on the final third, delivered a piercing through-ball that sliced open Inter's defensive line. Leroy Sane latched onto it with explosive pace, surged down the flank, and whipped in a low cross right into the danger zone. And who else but Harry Kane? The English striker timed his run to perfection, drifting away from Benjamin Pavard with just a subtle drop of the shoulder. In a flash, he arrived at the near post and tapped it past Sommer from point-blank range. This was a textbook example of how Bayern's 4-2-3-1 formation can dismantle even the most organized defenses. Overload on the flank, penetrate through the middle, and finish clinically. For a brief moment, Inter's 3-5-2 system collapsed under pressure. Both Acerbi and Bastoni were drawn toward the ball, leaving space for Kane to exploit, a rare lapse, and Bayern made it count. The San Siro was ablaze. The atmosphere, utterly gladiatorial. Every pass, every challenge, every save by Jan Sommer was met with a thunderous roar. It wasn't just a football match, it felt like a Roman arena, where every heartbeat echoed through the stands. 58th minute, goal for Inter Milan, Lautaro Martinez. Inter didn't allow themselves to be overwhelmed, and just 6 minutes after going behind, they struck back with a goal of pure brilliance. It all started with Marcus Thuram charging down the left flank like a freight train. He bulldozed past Mazraoui with raw strength and agility, breaking into space before delivering a precise cut back into the box. And waiting there was Lautaro Martinez. The Argentine striker took one silky first touch to control it, then spun quickly and fired a low, driven shot into the near corner, cool as you like. San Siro erupted. Thuram provided the spark with his pace and close control. But the goal belonged to Lautaro's ice-cold composure. No panic, no hesitation, just clinical execution in the heat of the moment. Bayern were caught off guard in the transition. Their shape hadn't recovered, and Joshua Kimmich, crucial in shielding the backline, hadn't tracked back in time. It was a costly lapse, and Inter made them pay. 62nd minute, goal for Inter Milan, Benjamin Pavard. Who would have thought it would be a defender to shift the momentum once again? In the 62nd minute, Inter Milan found their second, this time through sheer determination and aerial dominance. Hakan Çalhanoğlu stepped up to take the corner. He whipped in a teasing, curling ball toward the far post, and rising above everyone was Benjamin Pavard. The Frenchman timed his leap perfectly, met the ball with a thumping header, and sent it crashing past Neuer. A thunderous strike. Inter 2, Bayern 1 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate. Pavard made a clever run from deep, cutting across the defensive line at just the right moment to meet the ball in stride. It was a textbook example of anticipation, timing, and execution. Bayern's zonal marking completely broke down. The gap between Eric Dier and Leon Goretzka was left exposed, an open invitation. And Pavard accepted it with force. The reaction was electric. Inter's players exploded with emotion, tight embraces, clenched fists, and eyes burning with belief. This wasn't just football. This was a battle, and they were fighting for every inch, every second, every breath. 6th minute, goal for Bayern Munich, Eric Dier. Bayern were not going down without a fight. In the 76th minute, they clawed one back, and it came straight out of the set-piece playbook. Following an indirect free kick, the ball was floated into the heart of the 6-yard box. Chaos ensued in the crowded area, and amidst the scramble, Eric Dier emerged. The English defender stayed composed and smashed the ball past Sommer, reigniting Bayern's hopes with just over 10 minutes to play. It was a goal built on aerial dominance and physical presence, a classic set-piece strike. Bayern used their height and strength to full effect, packing the box with targets. Inter were caught napping. Crucially, they allowed Dier, one of Bayern's most dangerous aerial threats, to slip his marker at the worst possible moment. It was a costly lapse in concentration. And it brought the score to 2-2. Tactics and the tactical brilliance of Simone Inzaghi. Inter Milan demonstrated exceptional tactical discipline and transition play throughout the match. Every time they regained possession, they launched into rapid counterattacks with purpose and precision. The use of Federico Dimarco and Denzel Dumfries on the flanks was instrumental. Not only did it provide width, but it also gave them reliable outlets to break Bayern's pressing lines. Simone Inzaghi's in-game management was nothing short of masterful. Introducing Christian Aslani and Carlos Augusto at the perfect moment, just when the midfield needed to slow the tempo, was a stroke of genius. It allowed Inter to regain control of the rhythm, soak up pressure, and limit Bayern's final offensive waves in the dying minutes. Final whistle, Inter march into the semi-finals with a 4-3 aggregate score. Inter Milan officially punched their ticket to the UEFA Champions League semi-finals of the 2024-25 season, where they will meet none other than FC Barcelona. This was more than just a win on the scoreboard. It was a triumph of tactics, mentality, and sheer resilience. A match that showcased why Inter deserved their place among Europe's Final Four.